Hi friends, Amanda here from Fun Hands-On Learning, and today's video is going to be the activities that we have for week 2 of pre-K kindergarten. And I just want to preface this video by saying that I'm only going to show you the new activities that I have. So sometimes we do not finish all of the activities that I have in each bin for the week, and so if that's the case, I keep the activities in there for the following week, and we just do them the next week. So there are some things in here that we did not get to last week that I just kind of kept in here, and I just kind of roll them over and then we do them the following week. So I'm not going to show you any of those. I'm just going to show you the new activities that I have added to his activities, his learning activities. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So for reading, we kept I took out a lot of the alphabet activities that I had in here because he has pretty much moved on from them, but I did keep the fluency strips in here that he was doing because these are super good practice of sounds, and I even do these with older students as we're practicing sounds because just saying the alphabet sounds like this in a row, ya, p, g, s, qua, I, it really, just the fluency of it really helps. So I kept these in here. And then I also added on the ones for Unit 2. So these fluency strips come from Unit 2 of my Phonics4Reading program. And Unit 2 is all about short vowels. So they are words with short vowels, and they are just learning how to sound out short vowels. And they actually come with some that are just learning how to sound out a blend, so a consonant and a vowel. And so you can see here that he already did this one, and there are some marks on it because he's already done this page, and I think he did this one. We may have erased some off of it, but yeah, so we use these with dry erase markers, and we do the 3-step method where we say the sounds, blend the sounds, and then say the whole word if there's a whole word. So for example, on these ones, and you can see he's done this page too. He loves to mess around with that dry erase marker, but so he will say the sounds b, a, x. He will blend the sounds, box, and then he will say the whole word, box. And he has to do it all correctly before he can color in one of the smiley faces. So, and then we do it 3 times usually so that he can color in all 3 smiley faces so that he is really practiced for fluency, and he does a really good job. We only do 1 page a day. All right, so then I also have in here the other fluency strips that come in that unit, and these ones come with the missing short vowels, and so he has to say the short vowel sound along with the picture, and so we do that one as well. So those are in there. We also do, or I also put in here the Build It strips from, I think that's what these are called, yes, from the short vowel unit. And what he does with these, if you haven't seen my other videos, is he will take a strip and he will use his magnetic letters to sound it out and build the word. So he's already done some of these. In fact, he's done this exact one. I think he did this one yesterday. Bad. So yeah, there are just a ton of them here, all short vowel words, and they all come in that unit. So also from Unit 2, I have the Flip It books from Unit 2 in his bin. He hasn't done them yet, but we are going to work on some of these. They have all sorts of activities in here. Actually, it does look like, I think we probably did this page last year. But there are all sorts of different activities for working on short vowels. If you want to see these books more in depth, I have a video all about this unit of my program, and I will leave a link to that video below, and then you can see how we use these books. We use them with dry erase markers, we use them with manipulatives. They are just a lot of fun. So I have those in his box as well. Another item I have for literacy are the Fill It In mats from my Phonics4Reading program, Unit 2 again, and these again are working on sounding out those short vowel words, and he has to put in the missing letter, and then he has to fill in the other letters with manipulatives. I show these in a separate video as well. And then some of the activity centers from that unit. He did this activity center yesterday, and they are clip cards for beginning blends. He was using dry erase markers with them, and then we also changed over to using manipulatives. So what he was doing is he was marking the beginning blend, and basically these are consonant vowel blends. So what does the word start with? And he had a little, like for fish, you know, it's really kind of tricky because they have to know those vowel sounds. So he had to know that it was I and not F, because at first he wanted to do fe. And then I reminded him that I says I in fish. And so anyways, these are really great for practicing that with these early learners. And he's only 4 years old, so he is doing an early kind of kindergarten type activities. So another way to use it without the dry erase markers is you can use clothespin clips on these, or obviously you can use manipulatives, and they just basically mark their answer. So this would be top, and he just was putting, after he used his marker for a few of them, he was using manipulatives. This is jug, and then he was putting his little bears on the cards and using them that way. Another thing I added from that unit are some of the flashcard sticks. I won't go into these too much because if you see my other videos, you know how we use these and what we use them for. We use them for memory in the mornings as we start our lesson. And again, I would instruct you to go watch other videos that I've done on these, but those are in there if you want to see those more in depth. Again, I'll leave the video below. And then I also took out some of these are only a few of them, but some of the books from that unit. These are the reader books, and we practice the sound. So this is the short A book. A says a in cat. A says a. And of course, down here, I always keep the rule for whatever we're working on. So it says when a word has only one vowel and it comes between two consonants, it usually says the short sound. And then we read through the books, and the books, you know, have short vowel words, and then we use them in sentences. Now he can't read these sentences completely, but he can read the words. So he will read like v, an, van, and then I will read what he cannot read. So I will read C, and then he can say b, ig, big. He can sound out these short vowel words, and then he knows van because he just did it. So we do these books together. They're short A, I, O, U. So I pulled some of those out. I also took out, since it's September now, I wanted to kind of get started with some of our fall activities. So these are old books that we've had for a long time, and I will leave a link below where you can get these. Again, I will leave a link below where you can get any of these activities off of the Fun Hands-On Learning website. And this is an old one, and basically it's just going through some fall words, and it actually has my older son, one of my other kids' pictures on here, because this was his book when he was a little bit younger. But I'm using this now with my 4-year-old, and what we do is we just use the magnetic letters with these. And so he just puts in the beginning sound. So what do you hear in leaf? Leaf, and he just puts it on there, and then I'll say this is a scarecrow, and we'll talk about these different pictures and how they relate to fall. And then we also are able to incorporate some phonics in there because he does the beginning sounds. So it's kind of fun, like we just talk about, you know, different fall words, and he uses his magnetic letters. And this other book are just fall words without the missing letters, and so I'll just read through these, and we'll just talk about the different fall objects and pictures. Okay, so because I decided to pull out some of the fall activities for September, we're going to be using these activities throughout September and October as we think about the fall season. And all of these activities, I have a whole bundle of fall math and literacy activities. They all come from that bundle, and also you can get a really big bundle that has every season. So it has winter, spring, summer, fall, and it also has holidays. So it has like Valentine's Day and Christmas and all of that. And they have 12 activity centers for every single one. So it's just a huge bundle. But I'm going to show you a few of the ones that I took out from the fall activity centers. This is a fall literacy activity center. And what he does is he has to match up these blends with the pictures. So this says ki, te, and je. And then there are cards with scarecrows that actually have pictures that might match it up. So if I can find Jeff for jelly bean, that one would match up with that one. And then we have, well, here's one that would match up. So let's just show you this one. P for pig. And then I'd have to look through here. Oh, K for king. All right, so those ones match up. So we have just a fall picture here of a dog on and his pumpkins, and then he matches up with what the scarecrow has on his pictures. Now this is a great activity to use in a pocket chart. So in fact, on my label here, I have a picture of us using it on a pocket chart. So if you don't have a pocket chart, obviously you can do it on a desk just like I did. And then another way to extend the activity is to have them use their letters and to make the blend with their letters. And then after they make the blend, if you want, you can extend it further by making the rest of the sounds. So ka, I for king, and then you can help them make the rest of the, well, that's a U. That's not an N, is it? You can help them to make the rest of the word. I'm looking for a G. Like so. So for this one, it'd be pa, I, and then they find the matching picture would be pig, and then they can use their letters, obviously, to make P for pig, and then you can say there's one more sound at the end. We're going to make the ending sound, g, 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 and have them try to find that ending sound. So it's just a way to extend this activity. This next fall activity is an alphabet match, and even though he's pretty much past beginning sounds with the alphabet, it is still a great review since we are at the very beginning of our school year. We're only in our second week of school, so it's still a good review. And basically all he does is he matches up. These pumpkins have an alphabet letter and a picture that match. So he just has to match them up. So there's apple and there's cow and so on. It has the entire alphabet. Now I don't give them to him like all of them at once. I give him just a few at a time, and then he matches them up. This fall activity center is just matching beginning sounds, so alphabet sounds. So what does squirrel start with? Squirrel. And they can mark it with a manipulative. Here I have some little puppets that he likes, and what he does is he'll just set them up on top of the answer like that. So this one is pie, and these are all fall words, and he would mark it like that. Now another great thing you can do is you can use fall manipulatives. Now I did not actually pull out my fall manipulatives yet. I'm thinking of waiting till next week to make it so that we have something new and exciting next week. But I do, however, have some apple erasers in here. So one thing you can use is just something like this. Since it's September and apple is a fall thing, we pick apples, we could use those. So marking this one, rake starts with an R, so they would just put their eraser on there. Then basket starts with a B, and they would just put their little apple erasers on it, like so. But yeah, I have other fall manipulatives that I plan on pulling out next week, just to make it something new. I like to try to bring something new and fun every week that we haven't had the previous week. This activity center is fun. It's another fall one again. It's from that same math and literacy fall pack that I was talking to you about. In this one, they just have to fill in the alphabet order. So these are pumpkins with alphabet letters on them, F, G, H, and he actually had another activity that was kind of like this last week, and then he has to fill in, so he says it to himself from the beginning, so he'll say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So then he has to find the pumpkins that fit in there, and there's I. Like so, okay, and then he would go on to the next one. So Q, R, S, then what would come next? T comes between S and U, and then W comes after V. Okay, so you get the idea. He's just going to match them up, and there are just all sorts of different missing alphabet letters there. This literacy center is a lot of fun. It is also from that fall activity center pack, because it has some pumpkins here and some leaves. And what they do is they spin, and whatever it lands on, so it landed on an A, he has to cover up a picture that begins with A. So here I see apple, and so I'm just going to use my apple erasers to cover it up. Then he'd spin again, and you can, on activities with spinners, you can purchase these spinners off of Amazon, or you could just use a pencil and a paper clip and just hold the pencil, and then the child spins the paper clip, and it works the same way. So, okay, this one landed on E, so I have to find a picture that begins with E. So I see an egg right here, so I would cover it up. And the child would just continue until all of the pictures are covered up. Okay, these are the last two activities I have for literacy in his bins. This one I showed you last week because it's a beginning sound one. We didn't get to it, so I just left it in there. And then this one is from Unit 2, that short vowel unit I was talking to you about from my Phonics4Reading program. And this one is just so super fun. What they do, let's get to one that's not covered in. What they do is they practice making the word with magnetic letters, but also finding the letters. So here I have a picture of a net. So in this first row, I have to find the letter that begins with that I'm going to use a dry erase marker, but you can also use manipulatives just to cover them up. So for this example, I'm going to use a dry erase marker, and what they do is they would just color in the one that it starts with. So it starts with N, and the middle sound is E. So I look in the middle row, and the middle sound is E, and then the ending sound is T, T. So I'm going to cover that one up, and now I made my word net. They could write the word net with their dry erase marker, but he's not quite good at writing yet. So then, in which case I would just go ahead and have him use the magnetic letters, and then he can make the word net. So he's done with that one, and he would go on to the next card. And so there's just a ton of short vowel words and cards in here that we can go through and practice. Okay, we're going to move on to the math activities that I have for him this week. A few of them are the same from last week, but we are basically going to introduce addition this week. So I took out some of the activity centers from my early learners math curriculum that works on addition. And this particular activity center is building and adding. And I really like this one. So each of the pictures has a child who is building. You can see that there. And then what they're going to do is they just take a card, they build it, and then they add. Okay, so here's what I mean. We're going to take this card here. It says 2 plus 5, and then you need to provide the students with something to build with. One option that is really good is Lego Duplo blocks. Those are great to build with. Here I have today in here some snap cubes, or people call them Unifix cubes. And so what he would do is he would build 2. So he would take 2 of his Unifix cubes, and he would build 2 on this side, and then he has to build 5. So he's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Unifix cubes, and then the student is going to build 5 on this side. Then he can add them all together. So 5 plus 2 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 equals 7. They can either write the number 7 with a dry erase marker here, okay, or I have some number manipulatives here in this little bin. I'll open this up. These are magnetic numbers down here, and then these up here are just puzzle piece numbers from a Melissa and Doug clock. And so I'm going to use those, and what he would do is he would just take his puzzle piece and put it in there for the answer. Another thing you can do to help them visually see how adding is putting together, you can have them take the 2 blocks that they're adding to the 5 blocks and actually have them stack them up, and then they can count them all together and see that it makes 7. So that's what he's going to do with this activity center, and there are just a plethora of different choices here for him to add and practice. This is another activity center from the addition unit of my early learners math curriculum, and whoop, this is getting a little bit bent. But this is our fish tank, and it's called Fishing for More. So what they do is the students take a card. I'm going to just do this one because it's on top. So this one says 2. Oh, can you see that? 2 plus 3. So we need 2 of these type of fish, and then we need 3 of the trout. I think these are trout. Okay, so what they would do is they're going to use their little cards, and they're going to count out 2. Let me get the fish pieces. I'm missing. Okay, so it comes with all these little fish pieces. So they're going to put 2 of these type of fish in their tank, and then they're going to put 3 of this type of fish in their tank, and then they're going to add it up. So what does 2 plus 3 make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It equals 5. And the last step is to either write with their dry erase marker a number 5 on their fish tank, or again, what I like to have them do is to use a little manipulative, and they would put it on their fish tank. So they made 5. And then when they finish that one, they can go on to another one. There are just a handful of cards, and it gives them many, options as to what they're going to add and what they're going to put into their little fish tank. Okay, in here are a couple of teen number activities that we did not get to last week. These are from the teen number unit of my Early Learners Math Curriculum. I showed you those last week, so I just kept them in here. And then what I did is I decided to, because he was really doing well with the teen numbers, I threw this activity center in here because this was in his older brother's workbox, and his older brother flew through this. It was too easy for him. So this is from the numbers to 100 unit of my Early Learners Math Curriculum. And if you want to see how this activity works, check out the first grade weekly video from last week. And then I'm also going to show you these two activities I also took from his older brother and put him in his box because his older brother's kind of moved on. And since we're introducing addition, these two are great for addition. So let me just kind of show you them really quick in this video, even though I showed them in another video. This one's a Touchpoint addition flip, where they take the cards and put them upside down, and then they flip them over, and they pick 2 cards and they place them on their mat. So I have a 5 here and a 3. And then they use manipulatives on the touch point to count out their answer. So we have 5 plus 3, and I would have him, now his brother, I had him writing the numbers because he's much more proficient in writing. But for him, I would just have him use the manipulative. So he's going to fill in his number sentence here. We have 5 plus 3 equals. Now he's going to figure out what that equals by using his touch points. He can just touch them with his finger like this and count, or he can use manipulatives. I have some little erasers here that we're going to use today, and he can put those in there and count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 3, we're going to count on 6, 7, 8. So my answer is 8, and then he is going to, instead of having him write it, I would just have him go ahead and use the manipulative and fill in 8. The other addition Touchpoint activity in here is Touchpoint Addition Match. I will leave links below to these. These come, you can get them separately, or they come in a Touchpoint Math bundle. And what he does, I showed this in other videos, so I'm not going to go through it too much. But it's the same kind of thing. It's got the touch points on there. And what they do is they have to find the card that matches. So this is 3 plus 2. So they're going to look through here and find which one of these cards shows 3 plus 2. So here's the card. Here it is. So 3 plus 2. So I have 3 in this 10 frame, 2 plus, and 2 in that frame. And then they, again, can use their touch points to figure it out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then they would use their manipulative, or of course they could write the answer 5, or they could just use their number 5 manipulative. Alright, just real quick, I do have some math fall activities that I took out of my fall bundle, and I showed you this one last week. It was the fall patterns, and we did not get to it this week, so I kept that in his box. Or we didn't get to it last week, so I kept it in his box for this week. And I'm going to show you the 3 new ones that I added in really quick, and then we'll be done with the video. Alright, so this one is Pumpkin Count and Clip. This one's super easy because you're just counting basic numbers to 10. But it is great review since we're at the very beginning of the school year, just practicing counting to 10. So what he does is he takes a card and he counts the pumpkins. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then of course he covers up his answer, or he circles his answer, or he clips his answer. Alright, the next activity center that I have that's a fall activity is also counting. This one I think is a little bit cuter than the last one. The last one's just clip cards. This one actually has number cards that are on leaves, and it has the trees with the leaves. Also, okay, so there's two parts to this. So you can use the trees with the leaves, or there are apple cards, and you can do the kids with the apples. So let me separate these really quick. Sorry, I should have had that done for the video. But, so there are apple cards, and then there are kids. Here you can see with apple baskets. Isn't that cute? And then the other side are, the other option is to use the trees with the leaf cards. So what the kids are going to do then is they're going to count. So here I have, and I'm just trying to separate the apples from the leaves. I should have had these separated. Okay, so what they do is they're going to count. So I'm going to look at this tree and I'm going to count how many leaves are left on the tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to count my leaf card that has a 4 and place it on here. Now I can also make this into an addition activity. So you could give the child 2 cards and say we're going to add how many leaves are on the trees. Okay, so we're going to add, how many leaves are on this tree? 4. How many leaves are on this tree? 1. So they would need to find the number 1 card. There it is. Okay, then we're going to say we're going to add that together. So it's 4 plus 1. So we have 4, 1 more makes 5. And then they can find the leaf card that makes 5 and put it at top. So we have made 4 plus 1 equals 5. So you can make it into an addition activity, which is what I plan on doing with him. But if the students are still at basic counting, it's just, this is what it was originally made for, was just for counting. And these ones are the same way. So we take out, you take a card and you count how many dots are on the basket, and then they have to find the apple that has the correct amount on it. So this basket has 3, so this apple, or this would have 3. This basket has 4, so we're going to find the card that has a 4 on it, if I can. There it is. And again, you can make this one into an addition activity as well. So what's 3 plus 4? Well, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 plus 4 is 7. And then I can find my apple card that has the number 7. That's my kids you hear in the background. This is the last activity center. That's the fall math activity that I took out for him this week. And I can't seem to, there we go, get the bag open. And last week I was showing you how we were doing shapes. So this kind of goes along with what we were doing last week. It's kind of perfect. So what they do is they take out, or they take a card. And so here I have the triangle card. And you can see how it's fall related because the kids have leaves on all around them. And then they're going to look through the shape cards and find the shapes that are in, the pictures that are in the same shape. So I'm looking for triangles. Here I have a hanger. A hanger is in a triangle shape. Here's a dollar bill. That's a rectangle, so that would not work. An egg is an oval. So they're just going to go through until they can find some more triangles. And my cards are in disarray here. Sorry about that. So here's one. I found a watermelon is in a triangle shape. So now I am finished with this card and I can go on to a different shape. So now I can do circle. And again, the child would go through their cards and they would find something in a circle shape. There's one and there's the other one. And they would fill out that card and then they'd go on. And there's just a couple of different 2D shapes in here for them to practice. And they have their little cards to do, and they match it up. A way to extend this activity is to provide the students with some shape manipulatives like pattern blocks. And then after I have found all my circles, then they would take their pattern blocks or their shapes, whatever you've given them, and place the actual shapes on top of it. I don't have my shapes out here right now to show you, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying. So they would actually take the pieces, like maybe it's, oh, actually I do have a couple shapes. Take that back. So let's say, okay, yeah, let's say we did our triangle. Let me get those pieces back out really quick. And so we finished it. Then provide the kids with some shapes. Here I've got some shapes. These were the numbers that I was using earlier, but they're actually in shapes. Can you see that? So provide them with a couple shapes and then say, all right, find the triangles and match it up. So here's a triangle and here's a triangle. And then they would match them up. So that's what I meant about providing them with a manipulative to match it up. It's just a way to extend the activity to make it, you know. Hey guys, my battery died right here at the end of the video. But what I was saying was to invest in just some puzzles that have numbers or shapes, things like that, because you can use them for a lot of things. And again, I'm not sponsored by any means, but it's just something I like to have on hand with my students. Also, I realized I was talking really fast in this video, and it's because we have a lot of things going on today, but I wanted to get this video done. So I apologize if I sound like I'm rushing. It's just, you know, my life is quite busy with almost 7 kids. I'm expecting number 7. And I want to get these videos out to you so you can see what we're doing. And I know it's already Wednesday, so we're already like halfway through the week. And I only have done this one video, and I have other videos that I wanted to show you, like what my first grader is doing, what my preschooler is doing, and I just can't get to it all. And I know you guys understand that. So if I don't get a video out, you know, it's just because I'm super busy, and I'm trying to do my best, but also my family comes first. So if I can get a video done, awesome, but if I need to just spend more time doing school or being with the kids or whatever, then that's what I do. So I love you guys. I'm so grateful for you guys, and I want to show you all of what we're doing. But again, I don't want to rush it either. So if I sounded rushed in this video, I apologize. But we've got a lot of things going on this week. We're actually gone every single day this week for something. And so it's just crazy. But anyways, that's that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And hopefully I can show you what I'm doing with my first grader and my son who just turned 3 as well. I have that new preschool curriculum that I'm writing for him. And I can't wait to just kind of walk you through it, because I just added a whole bunch of other activities to it. But hopefully I'll get to that this week. If not, I will get to a video on that next week, and we will talk to you soon. Bye guys.